Hey everyone, welcome to Stuff I Never Learned from the Schoolbook. If you're looking at the bearded one, it must be Monday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific, 2 out in Hawaii, 6 a.m. tomorrow out in Indonesia, and about 9 a.m. tomorrow out in Australia. Welcome everybody. If you are seeing me for the first time, my name is Tom Springer, and I am the owner of Stuff I Never Learned from the Schoolbook. If you're a repeat offender, as a lot of you are, welcome back. Thanks for coming back on. I do have on a guest, as I always do. And this one is a little different because her and her husband are actually out on the road right now. So bear with us ahead of time if we have technical difficulties. But we're going to have an interview. It's going to be a good one. Stick with us. And you'll really be happy that you're here. But I'm going to go ahead and bring Wednesday in right now. So everyone say hi to Wednesday. Hi, Wednesday.
Hi, everybody.
So this is Amber. She's saying hi. Stuart's saying hi from down in Texas. Rosie's saying hi to us as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, this will happen for the first few minutes. But Jeanette's saying hello to you as well. They'll all just start rolling in saying hi for a few minutes. So, hi, everybody. So, as I said, you were out on the road right now.
Yes.
And you are doing over-the-road trucking with your husband right now. So,
Yeah.
so we get we get everybody on the show, so it's fantastic. Hi, Janet. So we get everybody on that comes in, and we've had people coming in that were crossing on a ferry over water. We've had them all over the place. So, yep. Hey, Stuart told me it's Monday. Thanks, Stuart.
We never know what day it is.
I know her name is Wednesday, but it is a Monday. Yes. So
every day is Wednesday.
Yes, every day for you is Wednesday. But thank you for coming on my show. I always tell people how I found you first, and for you it was kind of Facebook stalking, as it is for a lot of my guests, and you popped up as a friend suggestion, which is a little different because a lot of time I get, hey, you're friends with this person who's friends with this person who's friends with this person. You did not pop up that way. You just popped up as a friend suggestion, which was a little different because normally I'll go follow the person around and see what they do for like the friends of somebody else's, just to kind of see what they do and if they fit and everything else. But you just popped up as a suggestion. Not they must have realized that we were both kind of in the same field area and said, hey, you might want to go talk to this person. So it was fantastic. So I'm really happy that I was able to find you on there. Hi, Christy. And I was able to, and I tell people I Facebook stalk them, so don't. It's just how I get to know you. And I reached out. You said yes, and so here we are. You're in a big rig, and I'm sitting in the basement, looking like I need to start writing my manifesto because of my brick wall behind me. So and here we are. But if you would do me a favor, I can hear that you're cutting out in and out a little bit again. So we'll see how it goes. But do me a favor and introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are and kind of how you came about doing what you do.
All right. Well, hi, everybody. My name is Wednesday June. I get called both. Family and friends usually call me Wendy. So if they're out there going to watch the show, that's me. Originally from Colorado, living out in southern Alabama now. And yeah, we're hauling long haul. We haul cattle across the country right now. And we're on a break here in Missouri, so I could husband could take a nap and I could do the show. I'm a Master Shaman and Reiki Master, and I got started in that by about 10 years ago or so. Long story on how it came about, but life kind of takes us certain places and sometimes some pretty tough, hard spaces. And it was a time in my life where I was questioning a lot of things about life, spirit, God, everything, bended knee type of moment.
Right.
And I asked for proof and purpose and signs and yelled and screamed, and the floodgates opened basically for me. Asking you shall receive, right? And my world's never been the same since. And that's when a lot of new things started coming to me that I had to learn to tap into and learn how to control and learn what it was about. And 10-something years later, here I am. I started off a paranormal investigator, though, scientific little nerd. Really kind of skeptical about the things I do now. Back then, but it led me to here.
Well, you got to be a skeptic if you're an investigator. That comes with the territory.
You have to
absolutely have
everything,
right? Yeah. And you still do that, though. You still do investigating.
I haven't done official investigations or anything in quite some time, but yes, that is my passion, and that will forever be my passion.
Yeah.
Even on the road, I write notes to an abandoned prison yard at this place, and this town, this road. So yeah.
Yeah, I know. There's a chance that I have to go down to North Carolina for work, and there's a person down there who met me, and he's like, "Hey, if you come down here." He's never been on an investigation anywhere at all, but he's very interested. He's like, if you come down here, we have to go find a place to investigate. I'm like, I bet we can find a place or two in North Carolina that we might be able to get into. So
yeah, that's always fun. I'm really excited to try to start getting back into it. But being on the road and all that is what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and you were just up in, we were talking beforehand, and you were just over by us. You were up in Iowa, and we're right next door in Nebraska. So, yeah. So it's, you in fact, your husband even said that you guys come into Nebraska in the Grand Island, and that's only like 2 hours away from us, 3 hours away from us.
That's really awesome. So we're always our neighbors, basically.
Right? Whenever you guys are passing through, you just need to start waving. So.
Yep, I will. We'll honk our train horn at you.
Oh, that would be fantastic! I really miss being able to. I really miss being able to go like this, and that the trucks actually lay onto the horns.
Yes. It's fun when the kids do that for sure.
Yep. So let me throw this up really quick. You do have a couple of sites. So Wednesday, I'm not just did the same thing. She said Wendy earlier. Now I got it stuck in my head. You can find her information on a couple of these sites on Facebook.com. So explain the first one, the Ascension one, and explain to people what that site is about.
Okay, basically, that's there just for anybody who I'm not friends or family, word of mouth. If they ever ran into somebody, those random people who are searching. And that started shortly after, a few years after I came into all my new journey, I guess I should say. And that just has all my works. I provide my paranormal investigations through that, my Reiki healing, counseling, readings. That just has a list of different services I have available, different things I can do for people. I tried to promote and stuff and charge, but it's not really my thing. So that's really just there to let people know I'm available for different services.
Well, I'll be sure to post this out there for people to find, so that way they can come find it after we're off the show. In fact, I can do that right now. A lot of times I do that. I will grab your information right here, because we actually have two of them on here. We also have your Paranormal Investigations one on here as well.
Yeah, that one's been there for a long time.
Yeah, so, and a lot of times what I do is what I'm doing now is I actually grab it and I throw it right into the comment section. So that way anyone's looking for you, they can go right out to the comment section and they can pull up your information. So now you're forever out in space on my comment section.
Damn.
So now you're famous. Zachy is asking, what has been your favorite place to investigate? And he said he's 45 minutes from Grand Island. So.
Oh, so we've howdy, neighbor.
Right? That's okay.
My favorite place to investigate, that's kind of a tough one, but I'd have to say one of the most exciting, I guess, places, not as popular as some of the other ones. It's right in Estes Park, but it was not the Stanley Hotel, if you'd be surprised. It was a little lodge called the Elkhorn Lodge. I'm not even sure if it's there anymore because a bunch of us got together to try to save the place. They were trying to tear it down so they could put a snow hill for the Stanley Hotel and people. And I had some of the most amazing stuff really happen in that lodge.
It's still there.
Is it good?
Yeah, I just pulled it up. It's still there. So
I love. Yeah, that was. I'd have to even say it's probably more haunted than the Stanley Hotel. I was more more launched than I was the Stanley.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So Rosie's about to ask you a very loaded question. And I'm going to let her ask it as a very loaded question. She's asking, have you ever seen anything weird on the road?
Yes. Yes, yes, and yes. Yes in the physical, yes in the metaphysical, yes. Lots of weird stuff on the road, for sure.
Yeah, because I was thinking, being a trucker, I'm sure you've seen plenty of interesting, weird things that happen, especially probably in the truck stops. Sorry, my ear is going nuts right now, so my ear's whistling at me, so I know someone's trying to talk to me. So, yeah.
There's definitely some things, some people and stuff that you see at the truck stops.
Yeah.
You get them from all over the place, nationalities, fashion, and ways.
Yeah.
A couple of them might have scared me a couple of times.
Is there anything paranormal or odd that you've seen while you guys have been driving around, like on the road, and past something you're just like, that don't seem right? Maybe like a cryptid or paranormal or something along those lines. You just had to question it.
Well, I've definitely kept my eyes peeled for cryptids and stuff. We go through a lot of Sasquatch.
Right. Yep.
Too. I don't believe I have seen anything like that, but we do go through some really kind of ghost town, broke down places. We go on farms, dropping off cattle and all.
Right.
And I do run into a lot of places I know probably are booming with activity. Spirits do pop out every once in a while. We go through a lot of Native American land as well, some reservations, and I pick up a lot of stuff in those areas as well.
Nice. Jason already asked the question too, brother. He's asking, do you do the arm honks?
We do. We actually do. If you're asking us to honk, we see you, we'll honk at you for sure. And my husband will sometimes blow that train horn at people who like to cut us off and slam the brakes in front of us too. So.
Yeah, that gives him a little jolt, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Oh boy.
So when you guys are when I know that you do a lot of this. Oh, he replies, awesome. I know that you really kind of have to separate when you're on the road compared to what you're doing here. Is there any time where you just can't, where you're in the cab of the truck and stuff's just going on, and you're just like, look, I know, I understand it, I feel it, it's happening right now, it's just got to happen while I'm in the truck?
Yes, that does happen very often, but actually more often than not, I feel like a lot of the times I'm more connected to those things, because even though you're kind of connected to the worldly time and flow with traffic and highway and all the worldly rules and ways, there's some sense of freedom, a different kind of flow, and I can connect a little bit better to the synchronicities and stuff that most people don't recognize on the road, and I enjoy that part of it for sure.
Do you by any chance feel it stronger in like city, town, or open land area? Is there any of those that it's, or is it just different? Do they all kind of have their own vibe?
Yeah, it's kind of different everywhere where we go. I pick up different vibes and different flows and different things everywhere. Yeah. Dallas is going to be, say, for instance, going to be completely different than Grand Island.
Yeah.
Just different history, different things. Usually the more congested and busier, and I can't handle Dallas. Dallas gives me anxiety. I shut down somehow. Those spaghetti noodle highways defies the law of physics for me, and I get an anxiety attack. So areas like that I don't connect so well, just ready to get the heck out of Dallas.
Right. I can understand that. Yep.
I think nighttime for me is my most favorite time, though.
What time is it?
Night. When the sun
Nighttime.
goes down, it's night.
Yeah. I'm I realize that I resonate much better. Like since we've moved out to the lake, our lake area we're at, and everything else, than I was when I was in town. It seems like I pick up more here. It's just more comfortable. It's just more open and allows me to actually attach more while I'm here than, like, say I drive a whopping 12 minutes to my work. And once I get into that area, it kind of has a totally different feel. So, yeah. Yep. I'm scrolling out because I talked about your site, but I didn't really talk about your site. So I'm going up there now because you have my services listed out here. So you actually do readings. Are there any specific types of readings you do? Do you do, is it just like mediumship, or do you do like past life, or do you do life coaching or spirit, or kind of?
Depends upon what comes up. So my readings aren't necessarily always the same as your normal readings in psychic and tarot. I can read cards, interpret cards, I can do all of that, but really what I'm doing is I literally am connecting to an individual's energy, whether in person or remotely, and based on the energy and the frequency and the colors, and I kind of receive visions from the energy that's manifesting, and it kind of gives me information, and it just comes to me how it comes to me, and that's how I give it. If they want me to use cards, I'll use cards. If they want me to try to do past life, I'll do that.
So is it, when you're receiving that information, is it information about someone who's passed on, or is it someone about that person themselves? Is it kind of tied to where their path should be going, or medically, or kind of spiritually themselves, or kind of,
Well, most of the time, people who come to me are really searching within themselves, struggling within themselves, the life around them. They've tried every other avenue, church, doctors, whatever. And so I really do more concentrate and connect to the individual, their internal struggles, the energy that's been carried with them throughout their whole life, and I can kind of tell if things have started at a young age, or maybe when things started, and go from that. Mediumship I do, but not in the sense where, I don't know, I work on a different realm, I guess, than that. Like human spirits, I can see them. They see me and sense me, but I don't really interact with them.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, interesting.
Once in a while I'll get some that will interact with me, but most of the time it's just a see, sense, detail.
And that's really only if it's like an important message to give through you. So
yes,
yeah. I mean, it's not just what some others do. It's if it's needed, they're coming to you to say, hey, by the way, I know we don't normally do this, but I need you to do this.
Yes, if they really need me to get a message through or need me to do something, they will. Most of the time I don't. I kind of really more connect on a whole different level with the different types of entities, extraterrestrials, and things. I was
gonna ask you that when you're connecting to other, because I can actually hear. I can see them, but not like I do the human spirits here, but I can see and hear people when they talk to me from another dimension. And I know it because it's a different feeling in my body where they connect from. Here with the human spirit, it's through my head. If it's somewhere else, it connects to my shoulders.
Yes.
So it's a different feeling for me, so I know I'm connecting to a different location. Or if that's the best way to say it, is a different location.
Around location.
Right. When you're hearing them, last guest I had on, she felt that she was receiving messages because she was she helped people in a lot of different ways, but one of her big ones was she was helping them with their medical, like their medical problems, stuff like that. And she believes her gift was a gift straight from God to her, so that's how she was getting her messages. Are yours through your spirit guides or through another form? Like, are you getting your messages from something else, or does that come from a different realm as well, or where do you think your messages come from?
Well, sometimes I hear it directly from the source of the thing. Sometimes I do receive messages from my guides or my messengers trying to get my attention to connect to something in particular, to receive that message or see something. But most of the time I can just directly go to it and it to me, and we will have a conversation about what's going on, needs to be done on me.
Yeah. Hold on, I gotta say bye to Zachy. Bye, Zachy. Enjoy watching the football tonight. He popped in, but he said football's on tonight, so he'll be a little distracted. So I know he'll watch the replay back later, though. Oh, see, all of a sudden you and I can't be friends anymore. So you're talking to a monster. Here, I'll even show you. You're talking to a Monster Raider fan.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Las Vegas.
Well, I see where this conversation's gonna go. No, I'm just kidding. Nikki, my wife, happens to be on here. She's on every show. And she is asking, can you please explain what theta healing is and what you do?
What theta healing is?
Yes.
So theta healing really is, you have your different brain waves in the subconscious part of our brain, your delta, beta, theta, so forth, so on. And so basically I can get myself into that particular state of subconscious and connect to people, individual situations, even on a pretty deep level, to change, manipulate, put in, bring out whatever energies are necessary to do so with.
Oh,
but
nice.
It's all basically getting deep down in the subconscious part of your mind.
Yeah. Oh man, see, now we're talking football too, because now Rosie says go Panthers.
Go Panthers, come on.
And then Jason, who I thought were friends, but now we're not, says Raider hater here, even though they are now in my hometown. Sorry, Tom. So and Nikki, getting back on subject, off the squirrel moment, says that's amazing. First time I've ever heard of that. So
yeah.
And Amber and I are friends. So yes. So she says yes, rock on. Jason wants to know, have you done any chakra healing training?
Oh, I mean, yes, of course, I've had to. So when I first started receiving all this stuff for the first time in my life, I was lucky enough to have people I could reach out to ask about what am I experiencing, what's happening. And I was super blessed and lucky to have a few amazing shaman and teachers, mentors, who were my teachers and mentors, and through their techniques and their ways were able to help me learn how to do what I do my way. Through Reiki training, I got my Master Reiki, and yes, you have to get to a certain level before you can start doing anything for anybody. And I had to do it to myself.
Right.
Before I could do it for anyone else. So, yes, I
have. Nikki's asking an interesting question, because we just had someone who was able to do this. Do you happen to hear chakras as a different tone for each chakra? Or do you know of anyone that can hear the chakras?
A lot of times I can. If I'm able to connect to that energy, that frequency, yes. Every color has a different frequency, and I will hear the frequency, see the frequency, the lines, everything. So everything has a different tone, a different frequency, a different color, a different
Very cool. Pattern. And if you talk to the Marines, they will tell you that every color has a different taste in a crayon. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree with that.
I actually teach Marines, and we have a box of crayons up on our shelf for them. So pretty nice. Fun. Rosie wants to know if you took any classes or did you learn on your own?
All of mine was self-teaching through my teachers and my mentors. Went through some really tough personal things too, because again, you have to connect to all of this on your own. You have to do that for yourself. And so I never went to any classes to get a certificate. I kind of, I don't know. I don't really like the idea of people getting certified as a shaman or things like that through their certificates. I believe that it is a personal experience. It is a journey you have to live through and work through, a self-healing, self-transformation. And I think if you get too much information from one particular source, you're limiting yourself to what you're truly supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I know that shamanism is a volatile subject for some, because I know one person in particular who, when I speak with her, she says, well, that person's not a true shaman because they didn't go through like the 13 steps of this and blah and everything else. And so she lists out, you're not a true shaman if you haven't gone through this horrific type of training that builds you in this way and everything else. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that, because my interest really lies in shamanism. I really believe I am supposed to be a shaman, but my problem is I don't know if I'm supposed to be. So my problem is I want to be, of all things, I want to be kind of a hybrid shaman. I want to, because I am both Native American and Norse. Both of them had shamans. So
let me just, something that I learned, not only from my mentors, teachers, who shamans as well. It takes a shaman to teach a shaman.
Right.
But something that I learned for myself is shamanism is a natural state of being. We connect to different dimensions, different worlds. We are able to astral travel, take ourselves outside, travel the universe, travel space, time, dimensions, realms. And whether you're Norse, or I met somebody, I believe they were from Japan, and they have a form of shamanism and
right.
Shaman
as
well. So
I was just there. So yeah.
All tribes, all nations, all cultures have someone that's able to connect to those other things, to be able to do the healing, to be able to gain the knowledge or receive the knowledge necessary. And back in the day, it was for agriculture, for food, for clothes, for, things like that to help people thrive.
Yep. Yeah. So, but yeah, that does pique my interest, because I've always had an interest in shaman. I felt when I got my abilities, which is only like a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago now, that was supposed to be where I go. My biggest problem, as people will let you know, is I haven't been able to find somebody to help me start, especially out here in the Midwest. I mean, they're supposed to be, but I don't find anybody.
It's tough, yeah.
It is, yeah.
Well, if you ever have any questions or anything, you know that you can reach out to me anytime.
Sure. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I've got a couple apprentices under my belt, and I'm currently been working. Really good friend of mine started off as just a client. She's best friend, mentor. She's working hard for the last few years or so on coming into her healing abilities and her shamanism and her stuff as well right now. So it's a process, and it takes time. It's a lot of time.
It sounds like it, but so I guess some of the interest for me also lies with the fact that we already know that I have healing abilities. They're very rudimentary, but they're very, like, I can push energy anywhere I want. Healing energy, or just physical energy if someone's tired or exhausted or anxious or anything else. But if you're around me, I get a hold of you and I get a chance to hug you. That's when it really kicks in. That's when I can really start tapping in to heal you, and it doesn't go into me. It dissipates off of me, so I never take it in, so I'm not hurting myself.
That's good. I'm an absorber. Like, I just
I don't
naturally absorb it.
It attaches to my armor I wear, and that's where it stays. And then when I let go of you and everything's good, then it just dissipates back into the universe and goes where it's supposed to go. So Jason is saying that his girl just got her Master Reiki and is nervous about it. Shouldn't be.
She should not be nervous about it. She should not be nervous. If she went through all the courses up to Master Reiki level, the only thing that she really needs to watch out for, especially being new and maybe a little nervous, is making sure she protects the armor you just talked about, making sure she has her own armor and her own tools and everything, so that she can keep herself balanced and clear from absorbing. Some of us do absorb naturally without realizing it, and we forget to build our armor or get the extra steps necessary. I'm the worst at doing that. So
and mine is always on me. Mine never comes, and that is one downside with mine, is that mine never comes down. So my armor is always up, it's always ready, but it's just my whole life I've had that armor up without knowing I've had the armor up. But now that I realize it and understand it, I know what it is. So but yeah, Nikki wants to know, when you're hearing chakras, because you're saying you can hear them when you get to that state, does their frequency change if it's out of balance?
Oh, yes. They move in a particular direction if they're off balance. The colors may not be exactly how they should be if it's out of balance, and then the tone will be off as well if it's out of balance. Absolutely.
So it kind of throws everything off.
Yep. It does.
Yeah, Amber says that she has an interest in shamanism as well. I kind of knew that about you, Amber. I don't know why, but I knew that you had that interest in you for this. And Mo, my neighbor, says shamanism seems to be very spiritual from what she understands. Yeah.
It's a very spiritual thing. That's all it is. My life, I am so disconnected to world at this point. Like, my life, the way I think, the way I do, the way I breathe, the way I see things is very much so connected more on the spiritual side of things than the worldly way of seeing things.
Yeah.
Makes it kind of complicated to kind of talk to people sometimes when it's hard for me to let myself fall back into that way because it seems so unnatural now.
Yeah, it's really difficult for me since I work for the government in a very government location and a very government facility. I still have to see both sides
of it.
I mean, I don't have to see the spiritual, but I choose to. But I also have to pay attention to the worldly side that I am part of on a day-to-day basis. So for me, it's a very, very strong balancing game that I got to play with.
It is tough. I was always told in the beginning of my journey, my mentors, is my whole goal really is to learn how to walk in between worlds. And that is basically what shamanism is.
Yeah. Yeah, Nikki said she absorbs, and Rosie says she absorbs like a magnet, so she always wears her black tourmaline.
Good. Make sure you're cleansing and recharging your crystals and things that you're using as well.
Yep. Amber says, yep, she thinks we both have shamanic blood running through us. Yeah, there's a story to that one I'll tell you later.
Well, this is truth, and I believe it, because now more than ever, those who have been healers, and this is all past life stuff,
right?
Karmic cycles coming back around, and it is time for the shamans and the healers and all of us to start coming forward and coming out of the woodwork and start bringing these old ways, the real ways, genuine ways, back to the people in the world, because things are out of control right now.
It's a very big flip for me. It's a very huge flip, because a lot of my audience knows that my past life, I actually did bad things to bad people. I used to be a sniper. So I used to take lives, and now I'm doing my best to become a healer, which is totally opposite of what I used to do. So it's totally different to have that understanding that now I'm playing from one end of the spectrum all the way to the other side of the spectrum. But
you have to do that in order to be able to heal. You had to have been able to go through that part of destruction.
Right.
before you could bring things back together.
Yes, and people know that I did not do bad things to good people. I always tell them I did bad things to bad people.
Absolutely.
That's how
You
that
had a
worked.
purpose.
Yes.
I'm big in the military, raised military, married. I was married Army there for a while. My son's officer in the Army.
Oh, nice.
Thank you for your service.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Military, yes. I know how that is.
Yeah. Mo wants to know, is shamanism like being a monk?
Well, I would not say that it exactly is, but one of my goals, again, that one of my mentors, teachers always has pushed on me to try to get to that place, a monk type of place with being connected to the world and spirit at the same time. I don't know what all monks practice and what they're connected to and what they're doing. I've never really spoke with them, spent that much time with them to know. But it's a little bit different than being a monk. But you do want to be in that kind of state.
Right. Kind of that Zen state. Yeah.
That Zen state is your ultimate goal, but that is not easy to get to.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Amber's telling me, she goes, yes, I guarantee you've had multiple past lives. Someone with your abilities isn't on their second life here, probably a couple dozen or more. I know that to be true because I had an incident with an elemental who was well over 15,000 years old. And when we met, he ran from me out of fear. And he said, your essence is older than I am. So he feared me because he knew I was coming to have a talk with him about being very disruptive in the house he was in. So he tried to intimidate me. He tried to put fear into me, and he realized I wasn't going that way. And he was like, "Uh-oh, now I have issues." So
I am my connections, as far as I have been able to connect to, go pretty far back to whom I call the original gods, the ancient Sumerians, Anunnaki.
Nice.
So I'm pretty old in that sense.
Yeah. Amber's saying in her past life, last life here before this one, she was killed by her father at 2 years old. Nikki identified that when she was a past life, that she was a slave and actually had chains around her neck and everything else, which is why she's so protective and keeps her neck protected and everything else.
Well, that's a very true thing. A lot of our phobias and fears and anxieties and stuff that we deal with now that doctors try to prescribe or diagnose for us now, they do come from things we have experienced and carried on with us into this life from a past life. And that's on purpose so that we can dig deep inside of that and heal that so that we can change that karmic cycle for ourselves.
Right. Rosie is asking, what do you think of this big energy shift?
Ooh, is everybody feeling it?
I would say yes.
Well, what I think about it is I've kind of known this was coming for a long time. Kind of, sort of. I can't say I've been prepared for it, but I've received some time ago different things letting me know that this is a big time. This shift is major. There are a lot of things going on that a lot of us do believe in, but a lot of people also don't believe in. Our government is also covering up and hiding a lot of information from us that's really, truly going on right now. There's a lot of stuff, especially extraterrestrial activity right now, especially.
Yeah, I believe that wholeheartedly. I think I've come across more messages, just obscure, that I have to pay attention to in order to see them, so I don't miss them. Messages than I've had before, and it's interesting because I know that 3 years ago I would never even paid attention to it, but since I've been enlightened a little bit, I've been paying attention a lot to it now. I'm seeing it happen just on a daily basis, where before, like I said, it would have been something that I would just be like, oh, that's everyday normal life. But even paying attention to simple things in the news, or everyone pays attention to what they say, but a lot of people don't pay attention to what's not being said, or how they talk around issues. more than directly to them. That
Absolutely.
that lets me understand what they're saying more than an average person.
That's right.
And it helps me a lot too, being part of the military. So, I'm not in on the secret squirrel stuff that everyone believes that all the military is. Not everybody knows if there's an Area 51. Not everyone knows if there's ever been an alien life form. But for some reason, a lot of people in the military think that all of us know this.
Yeah.
No, we all have our. The military for a lot of people is just a job. To me, it's the same way as I'm learning that we are. Not everybody, not all of us have the same abilities. We all have our own little set of abilities. In the military, everybody else, hush, Nikki, everybody else has their own, of what they do. So Nikki's telling me, well, you do. She's telling me I know what's what in the government. So, but Rosie is saying, my body felt it and it wasn't good. Thought maybe death would have felt better, but I'm pulling through. Yeah, Rosie's been sick for a bit, so.
Oh, goodness. So a lot of times when we are on what I call the spiritual journey, the transformation, trying to come into our gifts that you mentioned, we all kind of have our own gifts and our own abilities. As we're trying to come into them, understand them, knowing that there's something else about us, something else out there. Right. The more we try to pursue or learn those things, the more we're gonna have support from those that support us. But there's going to be things that come up that aren't trying to support us. It's a whole battle that they don't want you to do that, and they work through people, things, cause stress, anxieties, illnesses to keep you from making those steps forward.
Yeah. Yeah, and she was told to start observing other people and see what happens around her. Yes.
Yes, that's very important. One of the biggest things I've always had to do, one of the first things when people start this, then you got to start cutting cords. You got to start energetic cords that attach us to people with emotions, just physical, family, friends, jobs, things. You're going to have to start cutting cords. You can't drag everybody else with you. They're not meant to go with you. They're not meant to understand. And I think that's one of the hardest things, is letting go of all of that and being able to move forward. It kind of feels pretty lonely and like you've lost everything. But you got to cut those cords.
Yeah, but you need to pay attention. Yeah, the biggest thing is to pay attention to how much benefit is that having on you by having that around you. Is it a hindrance or is it a benefit? So,
but when it's your family or your loved ones or people you've been conditioned by your whole life, it's a lot easier said than done to.
Well, I must have been prepping for this my whole life then, because Nikki will tell you I am very hard person to be friends with.
I'll burn a bridge really quick.
And even when we become friends, it takes me nothing to disconnect from that person. Even family members, it takes me nothing to disconnect from that person. And I've been that way my entire life. It's just the way I'm built. It's just the way I am. It's nothing personal. It's just I didn't cry.
I was raised military. I had to move every 3 years.
Yeah.
I learned pretty early in life. Don't get too connected to too many people, because you're leaving them and you got to make new friends.
I didn't cry when my mom died because I knew she was going to a better place. I don't have that emotional side of me that a lot of people have, that fear, that anxiety, that whatever. I just don't.
That's good.
I don't have it built into me, and I don't know why, but sometimes I know it frustrates Nikki to a level, because she's like, why aren't you more upset by this? I'm more upset by this. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but I'm just not. Well,
that's why you and Nikki are together, so you guys can balance each other out.
Yeah.
And that's what all of this is about, is balancing the energies.
Yeah.
To create a flow for things to be working the way they need to. And that's why all this is happening, like with the government, for example, and stuff. All of this stuff needs to come out, be revealed, needs to be this way so that people can start opening their eyes, waking up, making those changes, noticing that there's something else going on, and making those changes. It's time.
Yeah. She says we are definitely yin and yang to each other. We definitely are. Yeah. And Amber says our abilities are our birthright that society, government, chemicals, etc. tries to keep us from having them. Yes.
That is exactly right.
Yep.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah, and it really ties into that because it's something that I don't know. I think I've seen a lot of it, especially being tied to military. I mean, I talk a lot of this is more of the military that I've been talking about in a while, but a lot of the stuff we go through, you know, we're given shots and told we have to take these just because it's best for us because we're going to be going to a foreign land to go do this, and no one, well, I should say not no one, but everyone goes along with it thinking it's what's best for them.
Right, because the doctor said so.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, obviously the doctors know best. But yes, and in the military, a lot of people don't understand that you are a perfect set of guinea pigs for trials on things that happen before they give it to the general public.
We're the first ones.
Exactly, because you know why? Because we're the first ones to get the best and latest, greatest things that come out. No, we were guinea pigs.
Yeah, yes, I know. It was the same being a military family member. Same thing. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't get our COVID vaccines. That was not happening. I haven't been to a doctor and I don't know how long. Once I understood about self-healing and being able to do that for yourself, I haven't needed to go to the doctor or anything.
Yeah. I got my COVID shots, but I have a very odd, very strange type of immune system. And we really think I need to be studied for it. Nikki and I both talked about it. I got poison oak once. I've never caught it again. I got poison ivy once. I've never caught it again. When I got stung by a bee, I was allergic to it. I'm not allergic to bee stings. I got bit by a rattlesnake, and I'm no longer affected by its venom. So there's different things that my immune system has instantly turned over and built an immunity to as soon as I get it. And it's and we've talked about to doctors, hey, maybe you might want to check this to see what's going on inside of him. And they're like, nah. And they just ignore it. They think they don't believe what's going on, but I've grown up with this my entire life, and it's true. I don't catch anything once I catch it once.
You're an evolved human.
And that's why I'm not worried about a lot of the stuff the doctors give me, because I know my system is just going to eat it up and spit it out anyways. It's like it's going to go into my system and it's going to go, oh my God, what is this system we're in? This is terrible in here, and it's going to run away. So, so yeah, I think it's more afraid of me than I am of it. So
that's good. That's good. Not all of us are that lucky. I don't even want to try it, but yeah.
It's been ever since I was little. It's been ever since I was a little kid. It's always happened that way. I have a very high tolerance for medications and a very high tolerance for like being put under for surgeries and stuff like that. I've counted backwards from 100 twice. When they say count backwards from 100, I did it twice, and the doctor's like, I don't know what's going on. So, so yeah, it's just the way my body runs, and no one can explain it. So,
I would have to say you are an evolved human, or only part human.
Yeah, well, God help anyone else. But so now I'm going back to your your site. You have something on here. I'm not quite sure what it means. So I want you to try to explain it to me. It's called Paranormal Solutions.
Oh, well, that's very simple. But I liked putting Paranormal Solutions on there because when I go to investigate, I'm not just doing it for the research or for the fun of it. And most of the paranormal investigations I've done have been private, residential, cases where people have been really scared and really needed help. Yeah. And you spend more time investigating. You spend less time investigating and more time counseling and bringing these people knowledge to find solutions to deal with the activity they've experienced. And you probably know as well as I do, a lot of these residential cases, when we're dealing with personal issues and people, a lot of those aren't paranormal.
No.
At all.
Right.
And we kind of create and manifest our own stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what my paranormal solutions means. If it's paranormal, we're going to figure out how to fix
Right.
it and get rid of it. If it's not paranormal, we're going to figure
We're
out
gonna
what
figure
it
it out.
is and
Yeah.
fix it.
Yeah.
And so I don't just investigate, I bring solutions to the best way I can for the people.
Beautiful. Yeah. Let me answer Stuart really quick. Stuart, yeah, I know, bit by a snake, and 3 days later the snake dies. In truth, what happened is the snake bit me and I ripped its head off, and I had it in my hand. So, because I took it to the emergency room to show them that it was an actual rattlesnake that bit me.
Goodness.
So yeah. So
That's
I still had his
crazy. Yep.
I still had his whole head in my hand, and his teeth were still in me, but I ripped his body apart so the venom would stop pumping into me. And then I went to the doctors and I showed it to him. He's like, "Yep, that's a rattlesnake," and they took it out. And they never gave me anti-venom or anything else. They just watched me for 24 hours, and I never swelled up. I never got hot. I never spiked a fever. I never had anything. They were like, "This is weird," but they watched me for 24 hours and then sent me home. So Amber wants to know if you have a YouTube channel.
Well, I used to at some time for my paranormal. I haven't been on that in so long, but it'd be under Wednesday, June. I still have some reels from when I was on the news and some of my investigations on there, but it's pretty old material. Haven't put anything new on that for a long time.
Right.
I've been told I need to start another YouTube page and all this stuff, but I don't know.
Do you ever have a period when you're not traveling with your husband, or is this a year-round thing that you guys are doing, or do you ever take a break from the long haul?
Yes, I have not been on the road for some time. Yeah, this hauling cattle is kind of new. It's new boss, new stuff. But I kind of enjoy it right now. It's been pretty therapeutic for him and I. It's been pretty nice, and but there will be times when I'm gonna say no. I'm not.
Have fun.
Yeah.
See you when you get back.
Yeah. Don't want to see you for a couple weeks or something. But right now it's good.
That's good.
We usually get a couple of days off, kind of run for a week, get a couple of days off, and then
okay.
It's not too bad. Yeah.
Rosie wants to know if you've ever tried writing a book.
I have about 1,000 notebooks full of all kinds of things, and I have attempted and started writing a book 1,000,000 times. I deal with writer's block or confidence issues or something, and I don't know how to put everything I do and know into a book. But yes, I'm been attempting. I'm always writing, always taking notes, hopefully one of these days. I want to get a paranormal book out, and then kind of one that covers all the other stuff too. So
it's funny how many people I've heard, especially recently, that either they've already written books or they're writing books, but they all say, I have 1,000 things that I've written, and all of them can be made into books, but I just haven't turned any of them into books yet.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with them. I need to just throw all of my boxes of notebooks to some editor and just do something with this stuff. Right. You figure it out.
Yeah, and it's funny because one person started writing a book, and then he switched over and started writing a second book, but he didn't finish the first one.
Right.
But then he started his third one and finished that one before he went back to his first one to start again, because he said turned out it was a better starting point, his third book, than it was his first book.
Kind of gone through the same thing. Well, I can't go into that because that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother book. So let me start writing about that. Yes, I have been to. People aren't going to believe this,
And that's what Stuart's saying. Just tell a story. When I want to go back to something we talked about in the very beginning. You were talking about, you talk to other entities, you hear from other entities, and you hear from other realms, and you hear from other. Have you yourself had a starseed reading done?
No. In the very beginning, one of my mentor teachers, I guess, in that sense, I got a starseed reading, but I have yet to actually meet anyone who can give me an accurate one.
I got a person for you.
Do you? I
got a person for
I
you.
would enjoy that, because so far I've been pretty let down, disappointed. I haven't met anyone who's been able to do it accurately.
Yeah, Nikki and I have a friend who both did our starseed readings, and they're very specific, and they're very spot on.
Good, because I like specifics. When they start giving me roundabout stuff, I gotta turn them off. I need specifics.
Yeah, and these are specific. So I'll put you in touch with her.
I would love that.
And I'll send you all her information, and she's she charges, but she doesn't charge a lot at all. It's very reasonable. It's very inexpensive.
Great, I'd love that.
But I was wondering, because if you're talking to all the other different beings and entities and stuff like that, do you ever wonder if you're reaching out into other locations? Are you talking to relatives? Are you talking to people who are family who are giving you information, who are from these other realms or from these other locations?
There are a lot of times. They're the ones that I know where they come from, where they originate from. My regular, I know a lot of what comes to me, but there are times I don't know. I don't know who just came to me. I don't know what just came to me. I don't know where I went. I don't know who I interacted with. A lot of times, and I'm a lot of times talking to my husband, like, I just need somebody who can answer these questions, who can see this for me, because I get confused sometimes, and if I don't know exactly, or it doesn't feel 100% to me, I don't know what to do with that knowledge or information, how to act on it.
Yeah, is it false information that they want you to give, or?
There's a lot of times there will be a lot of false, especially with me. I'll get false information to lead me off track all the time. I deal with a lot of demonic energies and entities, a lot of stuff on those lower vibrational realms of things, and so I do have to be pretty careful on where it's come from and who's giving me that information.
Rosie would like to know, what are your thoughts on the Akashic records?
Well, I definitely believe in the Akashic records. I have connected to what I call the library, my library, a couple of times. My thoughts on it is that it is real. My opinion is it's our destiny, our history, our past, our future is all written down. It's all planned. I do believe that we can change things as we go. I have one of my books right now is only halfway written. I don't really know what's in that book and what needs to be filled up in it, but I do know the book that I saw last, it's only kind of just got started. I haven't been able to connect to them on the level that I've wished, but I really haven't taken myself out of myself to look that hard either.
I'm realizing how much I thought I knew and how little I know all at the same time. And it's really it's something as simple as today. I was watching somebody who I follow, but I follow a lot of people, but I don't watch a lot of people. If that makes sense. But I was watching one of her playbacks just to kind of see, because I never watched her before, but she popped up, and I decided to watch her, and she was talking about how she was getting message from the Mantis people. And I had never heard of them before. That was new to me. And I was like, oh. And she actually had us go through a meditation to where she had us open up and sharing the message that the Mantis people were giving through her with us. So it was pretty cool. I was like, I've never heard of the Mantis people before. This is new to me. So it's amazing how much, like I said, I think I know, even though I know nothing. And then to learn something new, it was kind of like, oh, well, that's not only is that cool, but it puts me back in my place. So
it's like the paranormal. You might get one question answered, but all that does is lead to more questions.
Right. Exactly.
So it's the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, I want to show
Mantis people are real.
Yeah, I fully understood that. I just have never heard of them before. So that's what was kind of crazy about it, is that was something very new to me. You know, I've read a lot about the starseed folks and stuff like that, but that's just because I was curious about what my background was from what I was from my readings about where everything kind of where those locations, further in-depth research of those locations.
Yes.
And that's what I knew. And I knew what Nikki's were, but I never knew there's so many more out there that I have no clue about. Which really makes me want to find a way to open up more, because I already do a lot with other realms, with other like interstellar travel, with time shifts, with everything else. But now it wants me to know even more. And why do I not know that already? Because I'm that person. Why don't I already know?
That's going
So
back to those different levels of the subconscious, you know, your delta, beta, theta,
right.
subconscious levels. And it's just kind of, you know, dusting and cleaning so we can open those doors for you to be able to go a little further.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess I'm kind of doing a self-cleaning.
We have to.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of going through that, because like I said, there's things that I don't know, and I am everyone knows this that's watching my show, that has watched me before. I am a nerd, huge. And I want to know everything. I am a sponge. So if I don't know it, I want to know, first off, why didn't I already know this? And two, what can I learn about it? But on the flip side of being a fantastic nerd, my audience also knows I'm very lazy. So,
unless that thinking, you know, kind of makes us tired right now.
So unless the answer walks in front of me, I unless it's given to me through message or something else, and it's not absolutely detrimental to what I need right now, I'm not going to research it. It's just the way I am.
Yeah.
But it's really weird. I've come to realize, and Nikki can attest to this, how much information I actually have that I have never once studied about. It's just there.
Yep.
And it's very odd to be able to talk on things that just pop into my head when someone asks a question and have an answer.
Yeah, that kind of happened for me too. Nerd, researched. If I didn't know, I was finding the answer. Didn't stop till I had it. Scientific method all the way.
Yeah.
Throughout my journey, I've learned the less research I do, and the more I allow it to come to me, authentic and naturally. I don't know, the more valid it is to me than out of any book or from anybody else's mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's weird. Oh, yes. Rosie, you're a definite right on the spot. She said, lazy nerd that has the Superman syndrome. Yes, I do. My back wall is all Superman. My tattoo on one of my tattoos on me is Superman. I don't know what you're talking about. Why? I don't know why you would say that. But yeah. But yes, lazy nerd with a Superman syndrome. Best way to describe me. But yeah. I don't know. Do you have anything else? I mean, we're kind of at a good stopping point right now. I do want to share a story with you. It's kind of interesting. I'm also sharing with my audience as well. So this is good. On a paranormal side of the house, Friday, I had to certify. I had 3 students that I was going to be certifying. They were coming through and they were going to test out. And I'm always the first one there in the morning to unlock and everything else. And I work in a building where people have passed away because they used to build the B-24s inside of my building I'm in. It's been converted since, but we know people who have died in there. In fact, there was even 2 pilots who test flew one of the B-22s, the B-24s, and it crashed back into the building I'm in. And both of them died. Lisa's saying, hello, beautiful mentor. Love you. Just so you know.
Lisa, baby.
But when I walk in, I always say good morning to everybody, spiritually, who's there, because I know that there's people there, and because I can feel them. They haven't revealed themselves to me yet, but I had to go use the restroom, and when I was washing my hands, we have a large enough area that we have a shower in the back for the military to come in and shower if they go to work out or anything else. And I heard the shower turn on, and I'm the only one there. And I was like, okay, cool. If that's you, do it again. And I'm standing there, and the shower comes on again. Now I can't see it, but I can hear it. So I go back into that area to where the shower is, and the shower is completely off, and the shower floor is completely dry. There is not a drop of water anywhere. And I was like, okay, I know I heard the shower twice because I'm only 10, 12 feet away from it. But when I walked back there wasn't a drop of water. And then later on, I walk in to the classroom to start pulling the test over from an off-site location to on-site so they can use it. And I'm sitting at a computer, and the computer in front of me turns on, just on its own. And I said, well, if this is you need to do this again. And the machine next to me turns on, right on cue. And as we're testing, there's 3 of us sitting down to test these 3 students because it's a one-on-one test. And we're watching these students, and we have one person out in the hallway that sits out in our other office, and she comes in, and she goes, which one of you are messing with me? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she goes, someone has been messing with the papers on the desk behind me. Which one of you are getting up over there and messing with me? And we're like, we're all sitting here doing a certification. We can't get up. We're watching these guys test. And she comes back to us like 2 or 3 times. And she goes, all right, now she's not even funny. And we're like, but it's not us. And then both the guys that are helping me test, both of them say, hey, I didn't want to say anything because I thought I was crazy. But we both have seen movement out of the corner of our eyes walking by the door, like out of their peripherals. So I had visitors last Friday just to come say hi. So yeah, it was really cool that they're opening up and starting to reveal themselves to me, because I say hi to them every morning. And I always tell them, you don't have to be afraid of me. I can hear you. I can see you. I can, we can talk if you let me. And this is the first time they've ever put on this much of a show. But it did freak out everybody else in the office that this was going on. So
you keep it up, they'll just do more and more and more.
I know, and I'm okay with that because I want them to interact with me. I want them to know that they're safe. They're it's okay. So because they never did anything that has hurt us at all. But yeah, so well, thank you for being on. It was such a pleasure having you on my show.
Thank you for having me.
And taking your time out of your long haul. Hopefully we didn't keep your husband up at all. Hopefully he's back to snoring. Perfect. I'm going to put you backstage, but don't leave me yet. I'm going to come back on and talk to you in a second. So everyone say good night. Say good night to Wednesday. Bye, Wednesday. Great having you on. Thank you. All right. And I will be right back with you. So stand by. All right, everyone. That's the show. I do not have a middle of the week show this week, surprisingly enough. And as of right now, I don't know what I'm doing Monday because it was my person I had scheduled to come on could not make it. She has fallen ill and has to take time off. So I am going to be a one-man band on Monday unless I find someone else to fill in. I have reached out to a couple of people to see if they want to come play with me and play with the audience and have all this wonderful talk stuff. If not, I may do a free play Monday, which basically means you all get to come in and talk to me. You're more than welcome to do that. If that's what you want to do, respond and let me know that you want to do a free play Monday. And I'll bring you guys on and we can talk about whatever we want. I can have up to 10 people on at once. I don't have a problem with that. We can just kind of do a free flow and see what happens. Thanks, Amber. I see that. I'll reach out to you. I have a couple offers out to people who haven't been on the show yet, so I'm going to see what they want to do. So we may do a free play Monday. Rosie's saying free play Monday. Like I said, I love doing those. Haven't done one for a while, so that may be what we do. And Amber, that means you can be on for free play Monday as well. I'll look at building that out. So I think that's the way I'm going to lean. If one of the persons doesn't respond back, we'll plan on a free play Monday, but it will still be Monday, 7 p.m. Central right here on Stuff I Never Learned from a Schoolbook. I hope you all enjoyed the show. Feel free to share everything out. Like, follow, share. If you don't know where, stand by. There's all my info. As it always is, it doesn't change. Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So feel free to come play with us. And if you have not heard yet, Nikki and I made the cover of American Paranormal out for the Midwest edition. So we are actually on the cover, and there is a 6-page article, I believe, inside I have the link if you want it. I'm also going to do some hard copies, all that wonderful stuff. But let me know what you want, what you're looking for. Remember to like, follow, share. Come visit us. Other than that, for the rest of the week, stay safe. Don't get in any trouble. If you do, don't get caught. That's what I always tell people. If you're going to get in trouble, don't get caught. Other than that,